Dennis Gillan here, the executive director of Half a Sorrow, but more importantly today, one of your two podcast hosts for It's a Tough Subject. Jessica Seel, how are you doing?
I am doing great.
That's the female equivalent. That was the female equivalent of meh. No woman's ever
It's
said that.
okay. If a woman says it's okay,
Yeah, it's okay.
well, listen, it's not okay.
I know why, because we did a little background and we know each other from the work that we do. I know why things that was a delayed response. It was a delayed great. We still got the great, but it was a delayed great because you are in a transition.
I am. Transitions are so exciting when you're planning them and you get excited and you're moving right along, and then it gets here and you're like, wait a minute, I'm really doing it. And I really am doing it.
Big job change, big career change, at any
Yes.
time, at any stage in life, but especially when you get older, it's just, whoa, you're entrenched in a career and you pivot a little bit. I saw you a couple of weeks ago and it was heavy on your heart, but it seems to be lighter these days. Are things lighter?
Yeah. Yeah. They're it's weird, and I don't even know, maybe this isn't just about transitions, but have you ever been so excited about something and then it gets here and you're not as excited as you thought you would be?
Well, you might be.
That doesn't mean I don't want to do it.
There's like
That
a
doesn't-
nervous energy. Yeah, it's not exciting. It's just like, ooh, stressful. It can be stressful energy too, but it's still there. And it's interesting to me because when I go over risk factors, we're going to tie it all back to suicide prevention and all that good stuff and postvention. When I go over risk factors and I list them on my presentation, I often conclude it by saying, listen, anybody in a transition, I went through a divorce. That was a transition.
Yes.
A job change, because we really do identify as a society as the work we do. That identifies us. You say, hey, what do you do? I'm in insurance. It becomes part of your DNA.
Unfortunate though. It's unfortunate.
It is. If you look,
I've had that realization lately too.
There's some kingdom thinking. You're really part of. I'm going to get spiritual real quick. God's plan, but we have a plan here on earth that we tie it into worldly things like our job, our house, our car, stuff like that.
Yeah.
The security that comes with that stuff. And I say that because we need a new car, and I have sticker shock right now.
Me too. I'm there with you. I can't even talk about it.
Now, it was like, first world problems. My car right now, it's 14 years old. We have two 14-year-old cars. One of them's not doing so good. Mine's doing great. My wife's isn't. And it's a safety issue. I have to change it out for it. We have to figure this out. It's a transition. We have to go online. And I had sticker shock. Your transition's a little bigger than that.
Oh yeah. So I made a decision, and I will say online that I am 52 years old. I went back to school when I was in my late 30s, graduated in my early 40s.
That's
with
incredible.
A master's degree. Yeah, it was, and I walked away from a career. So I have done wild and crazy things that, thank the Lord above, I've landed on my feet. And so I've had a great gig for almost 8 years. Didn't really feel like I was going anywhere, had kind of grown as much as I could. And if you've invested in an education lately, talk about sticker shock.
Yeah.
You're invested when you do something like that, though. You invest in yourself. So that was such a big moment for me because I made a choice, whether people agree or not, that I wanted to invest in me, and I did.
Are you going into business by yourself? For yourself?
No. I have a business partner.
All right.
And then I will also be leading as executive director of the South Carolina Public Health Association.
Okay.
So I love to build things and create things. And I have a lot of opportunity to do something that I love. And I literally already feel lighter. But I'm also, somebody said I may have been our producer, that I'm mourning the loss of something. I had a family for 8 years. I had a routine for 8 years. I had a name that I was associated with for 8 years. And it's harder than I thought it was.
Well, you get a lot of we talk about a stick alone could be broken by a child, a stick in a bundle, and work is a bundle. You had coworkers that you know a lot about, not just what they do, but you also know their personal lives. You've been
And
through
they
a
know
lot.
my passion and appreciate it.
Yeah, and you've been through a
know?
lot. I get it. I totally get that. They become, you know, I still, over Thanksgiving, gosh, I haven't worked for this one company since 2010. So 15 years ago, I got a couple text messages over Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. These are people that they become friends.
Right.
And just because you work together. And it doesn't mean you're not human. So it's crazy how that works. So good luck.
Yeah. I have to say, folks, I have been so blessed to be able to have made so many connections and been able to do work that I'm passionate about here. Really doing what we talk about here on this podcast, just working around behavioral health and addressing it and debunking stigma and myths and all across the state. And that's what I want to do for the rest of my life.
All right.
But
Well,
sometimes you have to make things happen, and it's
you do.
scary.
You do. And along those lines, we're trying to do things here at the Half a Sorrow Foundation that are different. We're trying to set up loss teams, which are
Yeah.
local outreach for suicide survivors. And we have a county in South Carolina, and I hope this is not indicative of what's going on with the numbers in suicide, but we have a county that has double the numbers of suicide than they had last year. Double. Like 28 to 57, which is
Is it
more
a
than double.
rural county, Dennis?
It has both. It has both. It has a little
Okay.
metro, a lot of rural. Let's be honest. It's
Yeah.
just, yeah, it's a rural county, agricultural base. Um, Things were tough this year, and this is also the time of year though. Like we're coming in the holidays. That could be rough for people, but
Yes.
there's also that aspirational stuff. All right, next year is going to be better, and we'll talk about that in future podcasts. But we're in that weird time right now between Thanksgiving and Christmas. Like we have a lot to be grateful for. And then the next month we go, but we want more, and we give
It's like
gifts.
it's like if I don't want to make the assumption that, there are people certainly we have families to surround us, and it's kind of like you're insulated for some people during this time from issues. You have a little bit of joy, but then other people, it's not like that. The holidays, people take for granted that it's a joyous season for everyone. Change is joyous for everyone, starting over. But for some people, it's devastating,
It is
and hard.
devastating. And it's interesting because of my location, where this office is for the Half a Sorrow Foundation, we're on literally a main drag between two homeless shelters. We are
Mm,
the cut through road. Literally, they go from one homeless shelter. If they have breakfast, they go to the next one for lunch, and they walk right by this building. And every time I have my first world problems. If I go out there and tell these guys, "Oh, I need a car," you know,
right.
it pales in
I'm starting
comparison.
my own business, and I
Yeah,
have all this, and it's relative, though,
it's
Dennis.
all relative. So,
I hear your emotional support animal in the
yeah, I
background.
got a dog with me today, and he's growling because I brought him in the office. But I'll tell you what I did last night. This is interesting. It's along the lines of what you're saying. I was in training last night because one of these homeless shelters, when the temperature dips below 40, they open up the gym. And I used to, believe it or not, I used to do my suicide prevention talk at a homeless shelter because they needed it. They needed it.
Absolutely.
And I would talk about counseling, and then I'd go over the resources available to them from that homeless shelter. And you would be amazed how some of these homeless shelters have a lot of counselors employed by them. They're really good people. So last night I was in training. So next time they open up it dips below 40, which is going to be every night this week. They open up the shelter. I just have to wait for the background check and all that good stuff. I will go down there and help set up, minister to these people. And then when they go to sleep, I go home. So
Nice.
it's all about, you can get everything you want in life if you help others get what they want.
That's right.
And that's what I'm trying to do this stage of my life. It's just like, come on, it's not about you, Dennis. It's not about you. And I'm trying to, with all the sorrows that we had, I lost two brothers, you lost your dad. I'm trying to live outside myself because I could have a pity party like nobody's business. And I still think to this day, Jessica, I can go back to where I grew up in Valley Cottage, New York, and go to a bar and start drinking. And then people would buy me drinks because that's the guy that lost two brothers to suicide. I still think I could pull that off, but I don't want to do that. I'm 62. I know I look 61. Thank you. But it's weird. It's like almost a sprint to the finish. I got to finish strong and I got to give back. And it sounds like that's what you're going to do in this new job, and give back through your executive director. You're giving back, and don't worry about it. And when I saw you a couple of weeks ago, you had that look in your eyes because it was coming down to this moment.
Yes,
The
yeah, once it happens, and I believe going through what I went through prepared me, weirdly enough. Hello there. Hello, buddy. Sorry. I will start using a different voice when dogs get in any.
Well, for the podcast listener, the dog just got on the camera. So if someone's listening,
And he's very cute.
they're going, "What is she doing?"
I know, that sounded weird if you're
That did. If
listening.
you're listening to it on that spot, like, what did she just do? She just transitioned to baby voice. The dog showed up. Now he's going on the floor. I can't take it.
I bet there's a lot of people that would do that, but I I do think it prepared me. I lean into the struggle and the trauma that I went through, and I remind myself that I can do hard things.
That's a
You
good
know?
reminder because you've done, you buried your pop. You battled through some, what you call them early on, post-traumatic behaviors. You battled through those. You went back to school. You literally gave up a 13-year career for that. Went back, got your master's, and then 8 years into another job. You've proven to yourself you can do this. So I have nothing but faith in you. But sometimes you got to hear from other people. You don't feel it internally. So
Oh, and I wonder if that's normal or not. You always think that when you see people, wow, they have it together, they must have believed in themselves and had a lot of self confidence in what they're doing. And the more I talk to people, the more I think that everybody struggles with something, and it just depends on how you react to it.
well, how many times, back to suicide and suicide postvention and prevention, is how many times have we seen somebody like in a picture and
Yeah,
stuff, and they go, "That guy died by suicide. He's laughing his butt off. He's
right.
smiling." I think of the guy from Lincoln Park. His wife put a picture out. Oh, what was his name? Chester Bennington. I think he was the lead singer.
Yes, yes.
She put a picture out there, the night before. They were all together as a family, and he was smiling. And you're like, that guy the next day decided to punch out. But sometimes it's a facade. It's a lot of times it's a facade. It's what's really going on. I do a lot of work with different foundations, and I was reading this one foundation. Usually a foundation is named after somebody. Like I did not name the Half a Sorrow Foundation after my brothers. I named it after that proverb that goes, "A shared joy is a double joy. A shared sorrow is half a sorrow." But I was reading this one about this foundation, and I said, all right, let me read the about section. And it was one of those classic, this kid had everything going for him, smiling, new job, unbelievable athlete, blah, 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 gone. And you just want to
I
grab those.
mean, actors, actresses, all the time that happens to, you know?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And right before we came on ours, I see a lot of this sometimes, these influencers, a TikTok guy. I
Yes.
just saw a
That
TikTok
seems to be happening a
for a
lot.
little more than normal. And I was doing my talk and looking at some data, and the 15 to 24-year-olds, their suicide numbers were actually percentage-wise went down. So they were the group that I was like pointing to, like, hey, they're talking about mental health. They're doing good things. And then just as of late, I've seen these creators and these young influencers in the news for losses to suicide. It's not good. We don't want that contagion, but
I
and
don't know. I think maybe my thought was that these are people, the reason they're influencers is it maybe fills a void of loneliness. You say all the time, I can be in a room full of people and still be lonely,
but yeah,
you know?
my freshman year, I went to a large university, and Bob Seger had a song, "I Feels Like a Number." I felt like a number. And it was weird because our student ID number was our social security number. This is how old I am. And it was on your ID. It was right on the front. And it's your social security number. I'm not going to, but I felt like that was my number. No one knew Dennis. They knew that number. Because wherever I went in school, like, hey, what's your student ID number? What's your student? I'm like, hi, I'm Dennis. I'm a freshman. Can you help me out here? What's your ID number? Like, ugh, I hated it. I was
Talking. Go ahead. Sorry.
no, alone in a crowd. I'm just reaffirming what you
But
said.
thinking about that age group that we were just talking about, and you said alone in a crowd, you started college. You know what? That's another huge transition point, and that is when my dad died when I was 18 years old.
Oof.
Right when I had graduated high school, was starting college, was navigating that. I definitely felt alone in a crowded room, you know, and you're navigating being an adult, and then all these other things start to come in. You know, what am I going to do with my life? You know, who am I? I want to be married, and you know, it's such a
All right.
heavy transition time.
With your permission, can we go back there? Because I do speak at a lot of colleges. With your
Yeah.
permission, and you can say, Dennis, back off. But when your father died, remind me, were you first semester, second semester, first semester?
First semester, October,
Oh,
started the
that's
end of
right.
August. October, yeah, towards the end, and I'll be honest, I just checked out. I did not go back to class, and it was acceptable, you know. They were
Yeah.
obviously, you know, it would have been maybe a month before mid no finals, and then the next semester, I you know, decided I would re-enroll. Terrible mistake. I think I went to one or two classes. The reason I didn't go is many reasons, but one of the big reasons was I was drowning my sorrows. I was going out. I wanted to have fun. I wanted for everything to be okay. I wanted to feel normal. I didn't want to be in this dark hole. And that was,
Oh, so you were
you know,
partying? Yeah, I got you. Because I was 20 when Mark died. I was a junior. I was a junior when Mark died, my older brother. And like you, and it's October. But I didn't, I should have dropped out that semester. I went right back. I left. Mark died on a Wednesday. I got home Thursday. We buried my brother Mark, and I was back at school on Tuesday. It was like a long
yeah.
weekend. It was terrible, stupid move.
Yeah,
Terrible.
but people are different. I mean, I'm sitting here thinking, gosh, I wish that would have been me. Um,
Nah, I would, yeah, like you want to do over and I want to do over. That's how grief works.
yeah.
That's how
Yeah.
grief works. We want to redo it and we
We
can't.
think we would know what we know now, though. We've had what we've had 30 some odd years of grief.
Everybody listening to this podcast wants a do over on the grief because we don't know how to handle it, especially
We do
a
now. Yeah.
suicide loss. Back to that, especially that. That's
And
why,
at that age, gosh, you know,
yeah.
um, I just any death of a you know, whether it be family, friend at a young age, again, that transition period, I believe that it is truly the first big transition period of your life.
Yeah, and
Um,
there's a new classification of students, and it's kind of cool. They call them first gen. They're the first
yeah,
generation to go to college.
how was that?
Yeah, you were first, so was I, and it's they have special classes for them. I love it. They'll do special orientations for them. And I love this from the university center. They have a first gen, you know, leadership class, and they all take it and they go, "Hey, welcome. You're the first one in your family to do this. Here's how it goes." Because some people have legacy, like, "Oh, my dad went to this college. My
Oh
grandfather went."
yeah,
I didn't have any of that. My grandparents all came from Ireland, you know, on a boat, um, trying to find out, you know, where the potatoes are. It was during the famine, so yeah, so that's kind of cool. But it's a transition job, transition divorce, transition. Other transitions, loss of health. I have a friend right now going through some cancer treatments. They're going to be fine, but right now it doesn't. They don't feel so fine,
I
and
mean,
they have a high
that's
probability of eradication in normal life. But you then become a cancer survivor.
you live
Like
with constant fear. I personally feel that way. I don't know. I'm not. I call myself weak a lot of times when it comes to things like that. Just the fear. You know, some people come off. Maybe it's what we always talk about. Don't judge a book by its cover. Maybe somebody appears strong and they're really terrified. I wear my emotions on my sleeve.
oh
So
yeah. Well, a
yeah,
lot of men, that's why the Camo Hat Club, you can see the hat behind me. By the way, I have 2 boxes full of hats. I'm trying to sell these things on Shopify. We will get this program off the ground. It's about getting men together, but it's hilarious because I'm the
never
worst.
give up.
No, I'm not giving up. And
Persevere.
I bought 400 of them, and when they're sold, they're sold. And they're $31 each. You can see the hat if you're watching off my shoulder. It's the Camo Hat Club for men, and they're $31 because I've been 31 years sober. That's the tie-in. And it's a deal and a half. It's a good hat. It's a Richardson 112 trucker's hat with mossy oak camo and all this good stuff. But I'm selling them now on Shopify. I'm trying to figure year-end fundraising, all this stuff I'm trying to do right now to keep the Half a Sorrow dream alive. And so if anyone out there, you support this podcast. This is like a transition to a plea here. I'm the worst fundraiser on the planet. But if you're looking at
Me too.
year-end giving, you go to halfasorrow.org. I'm looking to get 22. I have 9 people that give me recurring donations. I need 22 more. This guy goes, if you get 31, I have a challenge. This guy told me, he goes, if you get 31, because it's 31 years you're sober, if you get 31, I will give you a bonus. And it's a nice bonus. He dangled a carrot in front of me. It's like $2,500. He goes, if you get that, so I need 22 people to give me $31 a month. And that's nothing. It comes out to like $323 at the end of the year, but it will help me budget. So if I get like, say I got 100 people give me $31 a month, it's $3,100. Like, all right, rent this, and we can do these programs, right? I just need 22. How do you eat an elephant? One fork at a time. So if someone can hear my voice and say, you know what, I'll help this.
One port of 22 at a time. What is it? 1/22?
What,
I failed math.
Math, that, we're not going to do math, but all I know is I have 9 recurring donors. I need 31, and I'm 31 minus 9 is 22. So if you could help out, that would help. And
you know how I think people can learn about you? Follow our Facebook page.
We're back on the socials. It's a Tough Subject has a page too. And what we're going to do, this is a great idea I just had. We have a producer, but he never has good ideas. This is my idea. We got to form a community. And I'm kidding you folks. That was his idea.
I'm surprised he didn't pop on.
That was his idea. Yeah, that was his idea. But he's not on the podcast. We're going to form a community on the Facebook page and get people actively involved in 2026. So we're on the socials again. I got booted off because I lost my 2-factor authentication. That's not my fault. We are doing our loss meetings here locally, and I'm starting those loss, per county, hopefully a statewide rollout one day, the loss local outreach to suicide survivors. And it's going to happen. So we got a lot of cool stuff happening. Plus the speaking engagements. If you want me to come. Oh, can I tell you a quick story?
Sure.
I did an engagement in, I don't want to say where, because these people, let's just say Midwest. I don't want to isolate anybody or out them, because people open up with very personal things about what they say. So I did a talk in the Midwest. This mom was there, and she came up to me. She goes, do you mind if my son calls you? I said, I don't mind, because she lost another son. So this is a brother. The guy living lost his brother. So I could relate to that. Gosh, I hadn't been there for months. And sure enough, this week he texted me and we talked and we had a nice conversation. 2 brothers, 2 guys who lost a sibling. We're just trying to help each other out. So it's crazy how I do the talk to help other people, and these people end up helping me.
Yeah.
And this guy helped me more than he knows. We're in this thing together. It's a club. We want no more members. But I made a huge mistake bringing my dog to work today. He's pawing at me right now. He's cute as a button. Maybe I'll bring him up for if you want to see this on live, you got to go to YouTube so you can see this little dork. Oh my gosh, he's a dork.
I could just scratch those ears all day long.
He's adorable, but he's a pain in the rear end, because we were walking over. We're doing this podcast at night. I said to my wife, this is about the time I take him for a walk. Why don't I just take him to the studio? Wrong answer. He's driving me crazy, but all dogs are therapy dogs, so I can't be mad at him. How many do you have, by the way, Jessica, how many dogs do you have?
I have 2. I lost one this year. We had a podcast about it. I have 2. My husband does not want a third. I kind of do, but I don't want to be responsible or pay for one.
You have enough transitions going on right now.
That's right. But my thought, I'm like, I'm going to be working remotely. That's the other transition we didn't
But you
talk
travel
about.
some.
Yes, but I have plenty of time for love, for animals.
You're not going to be sitting at a chair at home. You're going to be out doing stuff, because that's how you roll.
Yeah, I couldn't do that, but some people can. That's okay.
Wow. So back to your transition. Let's go full circle. Can you speak to as the business you're doing, or is it?
Yeah. So a lot of different. Here's the cool thing. I found out what I love to do, and I want to try to do it more and more. And I don't want to be limited by one organization. I want different experiences. Listen, folks, you're not too old to learn. You can teach an old dog new tricks.
Are
I'm
you gonna
excited to learn some things. Um,
are you gonna be a
I'm
professional break dancer?
I would go ahead and tell you that I would fail at that.
All right.
That
I was like, wonder
is
where this is going.
immediate failure. No, I'm going to be, or I am a public health consultant. It's doesn't sound fun, doesn't sound glamorous,
No,
but
it
just working
does.
for different organizations to really around behavioral health programming, whether it's addiction, suicide, mental illness, really from the community side of things, getting communities to work to address their own problems and support others. Um, that's
So you, in a sense, you're still doing work. I'm trying to tie this all together. What we do to help through a community side, desperate souls
yeah.
live a better life.
Well, to get to care for people to support policy that provides access for care for everyone, debunk stigma so people aren't ashamed or feel like they can't access care. And so that we just talk about it, education for kids. Like you said, talk. That's talking, building a community that saves lives.
Does. And it's actually a program I do for the American Foundation of Suicide Prevention for years. It's called Talk Saves Lives. It's so true. It's so true. Well, that's exciting. Now, these communities, are they coast to coast anywhere?
Right now, just South Carolina, but looking to expand some, talking to one national organization. And some of it isn't behavioral health, but majority of it is. I mean, I have background in a lot of different things, so I'm kind of tying everything I've done in my career together, and it helps you realize, wow, I've done a lot of things.
Well, it's
And
all,
I want to say something, Dennis. The reason that I'm really passionate about the community work is I have never shied away from the fact that my family could have used a lot more support from the systems that we were involved in and did not get it. And I don't want to see that happen to anyone else.
well, that's spot on for a lot of suicide. And I'm going to give grace to the communities because sometimes the families, mine included, we withdraw, we isolate, we don't ask for it. We hide. In fact, we don't even put the word suicide in the obituary. We don't want anybody to know or come near us. And that's on us too. But you're right. If you do like, back to the lost teams, if you knock on the door and say, we know exactly what you're going through, we can help. And then from a public health side, you could the community get those resources up and running. Oh, we got to stay in touch because I got some ideas. There's some communities, in our little state that are hurting, and this is coast to coast. There's certain little pockets that are doing okay. They put
Yeah.
some places. I can name this county because they're doing well. There's a county in South Carolina that did a governor's challenge for suicide prevention. They put a lot of little things into play, and their suicides are declining. Yay. We can do it. We can do it. And then there are some other communities that could use some help, like the one I talked about earlier, where the suicides are double what they were.
Yeah, in rural counties especially, that's where everybody knows everybody's business. There's a sense of privacy that's different. And I love rural communities. I think they're special because you really do see, here, you and I live in big urban areas. I live right outside of Columbia. You live right outside of Greenville, or in Greenville, actually. You can get lost in a crowd. In a small town, people show up for community events. They show up, they have a newspaper people actually read,
Yeah.
They support each other in a different way. And I just love that so much. And that's why I love working in rural health.
That's true. You can get lost sometimes in the cityscape. But if you do something in a rural community and everyone knows about it, and you get all like the clubs that do it, like the 4-H and the Future Farmers, you
Yeah.
get all them in there, they'll show up.
Yeah,
And
special.
and they also will know when someone dies by suicide. They'll know that afternoon. If it happens in the morning, it's small towns are like that, both good and bad. If you do something stupid, they'll know. If you do something great, they'll know.
Sometimes in big towns, they'll know if you do something stupid too, though. Just saying.
The moral of the story is don't do anything stupid.
That's right. That's right.
Stay on task, folks. Stay on task.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's
Yeah.
exciting for your transition. I'm excited for you. You seem a lot better than I saw you a couple of days, about a month ago. I was like, this is the
It's just
worst.
the lead up, when you want to do something and just the waiting is killing you, and then it gets here and you're like, okay, this is happening. It happened.
99% of what we worry about never happens.
And that's easy I know, I
It's
hear
easy to
that.
say, but you better be ready for that 1%.
But folks, we're humans. We're gonna worry.
Absolutely.
Oftentimes, to Dennis's point, I will 1,000% agree over nothing. But to us at the time, it seems like everything.
And by the way, worry is a sin, so you're going to hell. So you got that.
No, right? Oh, God. I used to have that Bible verse. My grandmother, who taught me to worry, told me about that Bible verse.
Now you put me in with your grandma. I feel old.
Yeah.
Hey, Dennis, my grandma used to say that.
Oh, probably my husband too, but
All right.
Yeah, it's the men in their 60s, whatever.
Thank you, but I look 59. Stop it. All right. Let's bring it home, Jessica. Transitions. Everyone is in a transition, whether we like it or not. Either we left one and we're heading to another one. You might be in the middle. Like everything's good, but there's another transition coming. And
you know what I did though for it, Dennis? I want to say this. I had my counselor with me the whole time.
You went to therapy. Oh, you're going to therapy and you just brought her into the fold?
I knew what I needed to get through that transition, whether it's like you said, the divorce, the losing someone, loss of job, having a child, all of these things. Counseling has been, I don't know if I could have gotten through it or had the wherewithal to be able to move forward like this if it hadn't been to having that support.
Well, that's brilliant move on your part because you had a professional mental health provider, through the whole journey, and it is a journey, this thing called life. There used to be a school of thought that, if you had a shrink, as they call it, that's a terrible word. If you had I know, I don't like that at all. If you had a psychiatrist or a psychologist, you were crazy. And now I'm at the age now, if you don't have one, you're crazy.
I know.
And I don't even like using that word because of what we're in, this field. It's the taboo is gone. Basically, everyone should have a therapist. That's pretty fair, especially during a transition.
Yes, absolutely. If you know something, if you can plan for it, you're about to have to go through something, make that a part of the plan.
That's it. And the transitions we had to deal with in our traumas with the transition of a loss of loved one. And that's what we're talking about. And it's a tough subject, these milestones. And it started out, this whole podcast started out because you and I got together and we wanted to talk about our grief, a complicated grief, a loss of suicide. But we're quickly learning that it really could be any type of grief. It could be any kind of trauma. It could be any type of life hurdle. All these lessons are well suited for whatever you're going through. And there's a lot of things we make a tough subject because we won't talk about it. But the minute you start talking about it, you find out it's not that tough a subject at all.
And you're not alone.
Yeah.
Somebody else is going through it too.
You're not alone at all. You're right. And it's time we start talking more. So that's why we have stuff like the Camo Hat Club. You go to your therapist. We got to do all these things to continue to do this human interaction, which is lacking these days. It really is lacking. 2026, we're going to pick it back up because it's, we're 5-6 years after COVID. Come on, 6 years after COVID.
My gosh.
It's time to get back.
We're still talking about that?
Well, it's interesting because some things didn't come back from COVID. And one of the things I don't think that came back too strong was the people assembly. We don't get people together as much.
Yeah.
And we need to get that back because we're meant to do this thing called life together. And like this podcast together, I can't do it without you. And we probably could do it without Tim, the producer. We probably could. But he has that.
And here he comes. I knew it was happening.
He said no. But he has that personal flair and he's got that super intro and that DJ voice, and he gets us all to sound good. So on that note, while he's on camera, I'm going to wish you
a rose between two thorns.
That's it. Happy holidays to all of you and all the folks who listen this year. Thank you for coming out and listening to It's a Tough Subject, because it is a tough subject. And the more we talk about it, the less and less it becomes a tough subject. One day we're going to have to as we progress through our seasons, we're going to have to call this thing, it's an easy subject, because it's getting better and better because we're sharing our joys and we're sharing our sorrows. And Jessica, you shared a big one this week. You're changing a career, and that's a big deal. And I'm proud of you.
Thank you. It's a joy.
It's a joy. And when you share your joy, you double it. And when you share your sorrow, you cut it in half. And that's where we get our name, Half a Sorrow. So I'll wrap it up right there. I'm Dennis Gillan. That's Jessica Seel. Thank you for listening to It's a Tough Subject. And again, a reminder, if you could help us out with your year-end giving, go to halfasorrow.org. Support our work. It's easy to do. You can either do a one-time donation or be one of those 22 people who do the recurring. So I can get
He needs 31.
I have 9. I got 9, and I'm going to get 22 more, and it doesn't have to be much. Just send me a love donation. That's all I need. Love you, folks. Love you, Jessica. Love you, Tim. Happy holidays, everybody.
Happy holidays. Love y'all.